It's been a couple of weeks. I hope you didn't miss me too much. There have been a lot of news pouring in. I made sure to keep a hold of it and I just sifted through, including, of course, there was an AI ruling out in San Francisco that's going to probably send some of your nose hair. Some people are not going to be happy about it. Furthermore, libraries are starting to train AI on books. Yes, there's something more to that though, so don't think that they're just throwing any old book into that. And also, Amazon's Prime Day is right around the corner. Are you getting ready to sell more books during that time? And last but not least, Bookvault has been changing their pricing for the Bookvault US print-on-demand books. All that and more in the self-publishing news for July the 7th of 2025. Let's go ahead and jump right on into things here. This one's coming from the AP News. AI chatbots need more books to learn from. These libraries are opening their stacks. Okay, as per usual, I've put all of the links inside the show notes. Let me go ahead and give you the TLDR and some of these things. So what's happening is now AI is going to be trained from the library submitting public domain work. So don't worry, libraries aren't feeding your work over to LLMs. They're just feeding it over to the AI chatbots to help kind of build those things. I'm sure there's going to be some people who have their hot takes on these types of things, but it's public domain work, meaning that it's easily accessible. So at this point, is there really any type of a loss in this? I've got my opinions, but I'm going to go ahead and reserve those because we're going to move a little further forward to the more hotly debated item. This is coming from NBC News. Federal judge rules copyrighted books are fair use for AI training. Now, this is the part I think a lot of people are probably going to freak out about. But let's walk it back, all right? This is not saying that people can illegally feed your book into an LLM to train AI on that. What they are saying is like, look, if this is being trained with your permission, in other words, it's not being pulled from pirated websites. If it's being trained with your permission, it is considered fair use. In fact, I think there was an actual word that the judge used where it was the copies used to train specific LLMs were justified as fair use. Every factor but the nature of the copyrighted work favors this result. The technology at issue was among the most transformative many of us will see in our lifetimes. So there it is. The technology at issue was among the transformative many of us. So you could see that it's, you know, they're pretty much sticking to this. Now, this is a pretty landmark ruling. Now, will this have ripple effects across other, court cases? Remains to be seen. But I think overall right now is they're looking at permission-based training and not necessarily pirated sites. So the sites that have been, were pirating and such, and they were illegally training their LLMs based on this one right here, there could still be some issues. So this judge didn't just toss those cases out, but it was like, hey, here is this particular instance. It is very, very much transformative. All right, so read that piece. NBC News does a better job than what I did in breaking it down. But what I can be able to break down very easily for you is Prime Day is right around the corner, July 8th to the 11th. This is a very, very good time for a lot of people that are selling products over on Amazon's page. It is now a good time for you to, first of all, scale up your marketing, all right? Really lean into your social media following, your email newsletters, maybe consider some deals and discounts, do some newsletter swaps, do some group promos. It might be a little too late to try to put something like that together, but you never know. Get it to where you are putting a lot more effort over the next 4 days because this is where you're going to see a nice boost in sales. If you're not seeing a boost in sales, you're not actively promoting and marketing properly. So make sure that you're really getting in there, doubling down on some of the methods that have worked with you before, because over the next 4 days, it's going to be pretty incredible as long as you just put the time in. Think of it kind of like Black Friday, but maybe not quite as nice. So, and some tips from the folks over at BookLinker. Big shout out to Carrie Flanagan from BookLinker. She recommends that you drop your price. Also use a BookLinker link, which that is a universal book link. So if you've got a universal book link, that is the greatest way to remove friction. So if you're advertising your book or promoting it in some capacity, be it through your email newsletter or your website or social media, use a universal book link. It can be BookLinker, it can be Books to Read, it can be Story Origin's got a universal book link. I think there's also another one that's, gosh, there's so many universal book links. Don't just grab the raw link that you're going to get at a .com, because that's going to confuse people. It's going to create friction for people outside of the US if they're going and visiting the .com. Next one is get your readers excited. You got to let them know about it. Stack your promos and make your sales page shine. Now is a good time to make sure you got your A+ content dialed in, get your book description dialed in, make sure your keywords are all ready to good to go, get your categories all ready. So get those 5 items and get them ready to go. Hey, about a month or so ago, Amazon KDP changed their royalty option for print books. And it seems that the Kindlepreneur has updated their tool to reflect that. It is the KDP Royalty Calculator. It's a free tool for authors. You can dial it in according to ebook, paperback, or hardcover. And you can also dial it in according to the royalty rate. And of course, if it's paperback, you can put in black and white, color, premium color, and all that jazz. So if you want a little bit more about that, again, it's a free tool on kindlepreneur.com, link inside these show notes. Bookvault, they are changing the US pricing. In fact, they actually said from July 10th, we'll be making a small price increase to our US pricing to reflect the increase in costs globally over the past 2 years since pricing was introduced. Since launch, we have brought on 3 additional partners to further strengthen our commitment to delivering your orders in a timely manner whilst providing the high quality service customers have come to expect. With the new printing costs, new prices are already live for any new accounts. Existing customers will see prices updated on July 10th. You can check the new pricing by using the quote.bookvault.app. So that is quote.bookvault.app. Big shout out to the folks over at Bookvault. They're going to be in a featured video here in the coming weeks on my main channel. Shifting over to their competitors, PublishDrive just had some sad news for those of you that are using them. The aggregate publisher had just shared, as part of our ongoing efforts to optimize our operations and ensure sustainable growth, we have decided to discontinue support for E-Sentral and iReader. This decision was made after careful evaluation of operational efficiency and financial performance. Unfortunately, these channels have consistently generated lower revenue than the cost required to maintain them, making it unsustainable for us to continue to support. What this means for you: all content distributed to E-Sentral and iReader will be removed within the next 7 days. No actions required on your part. Your books will automatically be taken down from these platforms. This change will not affect your titles in any other active stores. In their defense, I will tell you this, that I have been using PublishDrive for many years and I've never made a single sale through E-Sentral and iReader, and I've promoted like crazy. So I usually get some from some of these smaller areas, but these ones, So not going to miss them. Best of luck to you in your future endeavors, E-Sentral and iReader, but yeah, you've been fired. We let you go. So all right, moving a little further forward, Findaway Voices by Spotify sent out a notification about a couple weeks ago, letting you know that, hey, it's time to get started with Spotify for authors. So if you are already distributing your audiobooks through Findaway Voices by Spotify, chances are very likely when you logged in, you should have gotten a notice. But if you didn't, you should have that email as well. Creating an account, dead simple. Just follow all the steps. You got to fill in all the information, and after that, you're ready to rock and roll. It's good to go. Spotify for Authors is definitely positioning themselves as a go-to resource, probably something that's going to be akin to ACX, in that you have the direct pipeline to a very major audiobook streaming platform. So I will keep you updated as things kind of progress here with Findaway Voices by Spotify as they transition to their new chapter, and being, I think it's called Voices by in Audio, which is the name of the company now. So I'll keep you up to date on that. So if you haven't set up your account with Spotify for Authors, go to authors.spotify.com. I know what I'm talking about half the time. Speaking of knowing what I'm talking about a week ago, a couple of weeks ago, Written Word Media put out a piece about how indie authors are doing in 2025. They're giving you mid-year survey results. Now, rather than me picking apart every last little bit of details, you'll be able to find out about income and how people are doing, what's their mood, how are they doing some of their marketing, what's the results they're getting so far. It's very interesting to hear that the marketing tactics that are working in 2025, at the very top, 53% of respondents said author newsletter. 44% said promo sites. 40% says social media, organic or paid. 27% said Facebook. 22% said Amazon ads. 19% said newsletter swaps. 14% said events. 2% said Kickstarters, and other made up 18%. So this is pretty interesting information. You want to get a hold of this piece here because it's very insightful. It's going to tell you some of the things that's currently working for indie authors out there. And moving a little further forward, this one actually gives a big shout out to Devin, good friend of the podcast here. She's been super, super supported over the years, and she'd shared with me a new site that they've put together called All Call Indie. That's allcallindie.com. You can explore All Call Indie, which is essentially a database of services for indie authors. So this is kind of like what Ally does, in which they have the watchdog list, but now we've got another set of indie authors that is putting together their own database that's going to be available for authors. And I got a good suspicion just based on the fact that Devin's a very ethical person and a good person to be around, that this site's not going to be bought out or paid for to put placements and things like that. Hopefully she doesn't prove me wrong anytime soon, but it's an amazing directory. I've already gone through it. It looks really incredible. So take your time, go over to allcallindie.com. I'm not being paid to say this. It's just kind of a cool thing. Now, I do want to bring to your attention, this is a pretty big deal here. Any of you that are using MailerLite for email marketing services, it's a glorious day because last month, it was about a couple weeks ago, they announced that now you can create and sell your digital products directly in MailerLite. So this means that if you're the type of person that wants to do direct sales, you don't want to just send people over to Amazon or Apple or Barnes & Noble and lose a cut, well, guess what? Now you can do it through MailerLite. They've removed the friction for you, so now you can start selling your ebooks and to a certain extent your audiobooks if you wanted to. Through MailerLite. So that's really cool. I've yet to actually explore it, so please understand that you're going to have to go into it with a little bit of cautious optimism. I've seen a lot of the products that MailerLite puts out, and they're usually just absolutely amazing, so I anticipate that I will be tapping into this into the relative near future. Next piece comes from the fine folks over at GetAuthenticBookReviews.com. Actually, I spoke with Flavia Kennedy. She's the founder of AuthenticBookReviews.com. It's in a review exchange platform in which you can be able to get more authentic, real, verified purchase reviews for your books. Now, I'm going to be covering them here relatively soon in the very, very near future because I have a case study that's been going on for the past year. But she did share some information about what Amazon is doing about reviews and how to protect your account. You may have noticed that Amazon's being stricter in how it manages reviews, often delaying, rejecting, or even removing them without notice. This change is great news for serious authors and for Authentic, which has allowed Amazon strict guidelines from the beginning, which is followed. What's Amazon's doing? Amazon's cracking down on anything that seems fake or inauthentic. These measures are designed to protect the integrity of the review process. Here's Amazon's measures recently implemented or currently in place. Reading page tracking. This feature, previously available on Kindle Unlimited, has now been implemented across all ebooks to verify actual reading activity. You can see a new timer on your computer in the Kindle app at the bottom left side, which indicates how long it would typically take to read the book. If you skim or read too fast, it raises a flag. Now, deleting unverified reviews. Amazon's beginning to remove unverified reviews as well as suspicious verified reviews. Reviews from accounts that purchased the book but did not read it. So that's pretty interesting. Unverified reviews, when you don't get that verified purchase review tag, that means you didn't purchase it on Amazon. I've seen this happen over the years many times. It ends up getting removed in some capacity. It kind of sucks, especially if you've been spending some time and energy in trying to get more book reviews. Say maybe you've done an advanced reader copy team and they didn't purchase the book, but they got the advanced reader copy and they left a review. Well, Amazon can sometimes delete that stuff off. Do they do it every time? No, but it does happen. Moving a little further forward, she says, setting more reviews as unverified. Even if you purchase the book, it will be marked as unverified if you read the book too quickly or didn't finish a significant portion of it. Providing too many reviews like this can pose a risk to your account. Now, that one I did not know. You also need to have a $50 minimum spend requirement. That's always been in place. If you want to leave a review on any of the Amazon marketplaces, you have to spend at least $50 or more on products within a rolling calendar year. Manual review vetting. If you include the text any controversial or harsh content, the review may be put on hold or rejected. And there's an increased approval timing. Amazon delay for approving and posting can now take up to 10 days. There are many do's and don'ts that Flavia does go into, but if you want more information like this, what I would recommend is you should get yourself set up with an account over at getauthenticbookreviews.com. They are relatively inexpensive. Actually, they're the least price. It is the most inexpensive option when it comes to that. Because I mean, you got the book review exchange sites out there like Pubbly or Book Bounty or Gemsy. They don't even hold a candle to how much that is charged over on Get Authentic Book Reviews. So go over, take a look at them. Big shout out over there to Flavia again. Now, speaking of book reviews, Gemsy also has a July 4th special. Now, I know it's already past July 4th, but he gave me this information while I was on vacation. I said, hey, dude, man, I'm on vacation. Can you extend that code for me when I get back? And he said, no problem. So anybody that wants to get access to Gemsy, which is where you can get your books reviewed, you can use the coupon code of Dale for July, and you'll get 50% off on any Gemsy plan for an unlimited time. This deal is available through July 8th. As soon as July 9th comes along, it's gone. So get that deal now. Go on over to gemsy.io, or you can over dalelinks.com/Gemsy and use the coupon code DALE, the number 4, July, so you can get 50% off, and you can lock that in. As long as you are an active member with Gemsy, they will continue to honor that. I want to give a heads up and let you know there are a couple conferences that are coming up here in the relative near future. One online conference is called BookMARCon. It is being hosted by the fine folks over at BookBrush. It's on August the 1st to the 3rd. I will be speaking, and there are a number of other speakers. This is a free conference with a little bit of an asterisk next to it. You must be a premium subscriber to BookBrush. Now, if you are not familiar with BookBrush, BookBrush is like Canva on steroids. It is really for authors. Canva for authors on steroids. There we go. Say it all in one fell swoop here. But getting an account, honestly, if you were just to even get a monthly plan or the yearly plan, it is like paying for an online conference ticket. You know, you're going to get a lot of great information. So go give it a look. That's at bookbrush.com/BookMARCon. And then, of course, I'll be speaking at Author Nation in November. If you want to get tickets to that, get it now while you can for the next 54 days. You can get it at an early pricing of $599.99. I will be speaking about building your community, and I will be meeting up with people. I'm going to be interviewing speakers. You're going to see me really easily. If you want to get yourself a ticket, get it now so you can start making plans, because November is going to come up on you real quick. That is at dalelinks.com/AuthorNation. And if you happen to go, please come find me. I insist you to come find me. And I'm never too busy to take a little bit of time to say hi to every single person. So again, dalelinks.com/AuthorNation. Hopefully I'll be able to get a chance to meet you up. You'll be able to pick me out. I'm 6'1", couple 100 pounds, and I wear an orange shirt, although I'll probably have a beanie on my head because Vegas always has those casinos freezing cold, so I'll probably be covering up my bald head. That's all I got for the week for self-publishing news. What'd you think? Did I miss any pertinent items? I definitely would love to hear from you. Join me over in the Discord community. Tell me exactly what you thought. DaleLinks.com/Discord. Till later, this has been Self-Publishing with Dale, and I'll chat with you next week. Hey, thanks so much for tuning in. Special shout out to my channel members for both the podcast channel and the main channel. Without your support, some projects we do at Self-Publishing with Dale would be much harder to fund. If you want to contribute to the cause, visit dalelinks.com/memberships for details and get your on-screen shout out at the end of each broadcast. Till later, this has been Self-Publishing with Dale, and I'll see you soon.